Because I know the notes are good, so it's just gonna be Alex. I'm not even rolling for it.
Thanks, boss.
Yeah.
All right. So greater context from a couple sessions back, we finished up a lot of our ongoing, more plot threads, if you will. We got our $5.5 million payday. We got our ship back with a shiny new gun installed. We wrapped up a whole lot of loose ends, and then we went to meet up with an old friend named Yukon at a remote location where he disclosed to us that he was in real bad shape, didn't have much time left, but he was tracking down an all-powerful AI created by a super advanced ancient galactic civilization. Most ridiculous high fantasy plot hook I've ever heard suddenly thrust itself into our grounded low fantasy traveler game. And he says if this falls into the wrong hands, it could, it could be a disaster. So if we could finish what he started and recover that AI and do the right thing, of which we have some discretion as to what exactly that might mean, we should do that. So that's what we're embarking upon. I understand that some of you guys have met this AI before, so we at least have a lead on it, which is that it was sold to a guy on Squalia, who also we happen to have another job involving him anyway, so we're like, this is a nice coincidence of things. So yeah, our last session. Let's see, I can skip stuff that doesn't matter so much. We had a fun little adventure with a pathetic traveler named Elias, who turned out to be a spy, like I said. And his little ambush on us didn't work. But yes, we got the lady back. The sword worlders don't want anything more to do with us. And then we got to Squalia. So this is where we are now. Squalia is water planet. It was not aligned, but now security is very high and there's a really big imperial presence. The Duke of Iterati has declared martial law on the district, so everything we were warned about with him kind of extending his reach across the sector seems to be holding true. We split the party a little bit. Myself, along with Books and Doc, went to find this guy who we have some business with, Vanpar Lanleth, in order to track down the AI, and we were contacted by the lawyer from McClellan, Carl Rockamunda, who met us at a restaurant. He provided us with some phony credentials, IDs, credits, and all that stuff, because what he wants us to do is... Hold up, there's details. Specifically, the job is to find out if there is any dirt about what McClellan has been up to here, or one of McClellan's subsidiaries, so we can bring it back to him and maybe, get Vanpar in jail and have him take the fall for all of that. So that's a potential payday for us, and like what we get out of that is the services of his actual legal counsel and everything, and representing us, because we're also wanted as terrorists in the Imperium, and also a nice payday as well. But then Vanpar Lanleth, who I think also previously owes the Lady of Mercia a lot of money, has an offer for us to try to dig up if McClellan Industries subsidiary has been doing anything underhanded here, so that he can try to get them thrown off the world for good. And that could be money. And so we were talking about maybe we should play both sides against each other, and so that we can collect both paydays somehow. And we were playing around with the idea of kind of splitting the party up and approaching the same target from two different directions. Each of them, one of them as though they were being hired by Vanpar Lanleth, and the other as though we were being hired by McClellan Industries. So yeah, there's, as I understand it, an illegal whaling operation going on that is at the center of all of this. And also our contact is a guy who could tell us the story of the AI when we get done with the job, which brings that in. I hope that is the least messy way that I could have recapped all of that.
I think that was awesome. Like, I feel like it's complicated enough that I'm not going to kind of scribble here and draw some stuff. Now, we'll hop right into the game here. Like, just imagine you're on the ship, because you probably
Right.
you probably
We have
need
our cord, we have our red string, we have like all the...
Indeed, exactly. A couple of details. So, let me see here. Carl Rockamundra. So, McClellan. Okay, so this is... It's not letting me type. Oh. Next, okay. McClellan Industries. Which is one of the... It's like a gigantic mega corporation. Okay? And then you've got Vanpar Landleth, who represents, you know, his own company, but more importantly, like local indie kind of a reaction to that. He's trying to get McClellan thrown out, and in the midst of all this, and this is why you all kind of met separately with people, I think. Part of why, because everybody's wanted by different people at this point, and on top of being fugitives and terrorists, but you have the AI, and this is crazy because Vanpar Landleth gave the job to get the AI from McClellan. Okay? Now, Vanpar Landleth, he wants you to work with a group called the Pan-Galactic Friends of Life, for whom he says he has a contact that understands and knows and works with the locals for this illegal, we called it a whaling operation. Meanwhile, Carl Rockamundra, he can give you a cover as a pharmaceutical buying acquisitions type people, and so you can go directly to the subsidiary. Ultimately, what you need is proof. And then on one side of that proof, you've got 100,000 credits on the line. And on the other side of it, you got 150K on the line.
So if it comes down to it and we have to pick one, we side with the mega corporations over the independents.
Well, let's remember that we need the AI.
And Vamper didn't pay us last time.
Well,
How much did he not pay us last time?
no. He didn't promise to pay us anything. He told us he would give us work, regular work, if we did that job.
And so a couple of details that are important here. The AI is some sort of technology that, first of all, it's super outlawed. It's like a nuclear weapon, or like a plague, and it is some kind of ancient technology that pre-existed mankind. Obviously, it's been changed and retooled and used by McClellan. You took the AI, and then what the agent told you was that someone has used this AI to access a kind of a doomsday weapon that could hypothetically wipe out civilization in the sector. And he wants you to find the AI and eliminate or stop it, and this plan to use this doomsday weapon. And in return, if you make it back before he dies, he'll give you the octant for a salvage that has an operable Jump 2 engine. So a lot of pieces there. And this just imagine you're here on the Lady of Mercia. Let's make a plan. Like, how are you guys going to skin this cat? By the way, these meetings happen simultaneously. The Pan-Galactic Friends of Life and the Kelstar purchasing meeting with Sea Harvester, which is the subsidiary in question.
I guess my only question there it would be, of the crew, which one should I not be at?
Well, we had split the party up, as I remember.
Yeah.
The people who had previously met Vampire and the people who had not. I
The
think
Pan-Galactic Friends of Life are expecting, people sent by Vampire, right?
yes. So that would be the non-Bellamy half of the party.
Right.
Okay, so that's Doc Ocean.
Because I don't know if Bellamy's cut out for animal rights advocacy.
He has a dog. He loves animals.
That's like, yeah, maybe his only redeeming feature, actually. Is his love of
like
animals.
the
Harsh.
poster, like animal of the movement.
And he's good
everything.
with a sword.
Yeah, so I'll just be an extra gruff corporate buyer who has no time for your nonsense.
All right, so that would be, so Team 2, Team Corpos are Bellamy, Shipley, and then you also have Velez and
We gotta bring what's her face?
Isabella.
Isabella.
Because she knows Rakamundra, and regardless of what her taste is, she said she'd help the crew, and this is her chance to prove it.
Okay, so Isabella, and I assume Velez would go with you all then, and then Lothak with Team 1. Or Lothak. It's like she's like on the ball team and she was the last one to get picked. Man,
And hey, guess
she's gonna
what?
be
We
integral
don't
by the
have
end
to.
of this.
We don't have to violate our contract with Rakamundra, because I don't ever have to go back and see Landleth again until after I've already delivered the info to Rakamundra.
Right.
So that means me, Doc, and Books are going to go to the Pan-Galactic Friends of Life. We're the ones being sent by taking up Vampire's plot hook.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
All right. Now this is going to get crazy. We're going to and this is just a catchphrase, it's not to be taken too literally, but I'll pan the camera. So it's going to be back and forth regularly. Okay, so on the Lady of Mercia,
Can we assume? I just want to get this out. Can we assume that we have voice comms during this, or not? Do we have the ability to talk to each other like on the sly?
you can assume you have the equipment for that.
But it would be a risk to attempt to do it surreptitiously if we were in the wrong company or the wrong situation. Okay. I just want to make sure that whether or not the tech exists before we start the business.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, if I recall correctly, you all have things that you purchased for that, if I recall. So, Team Killstar. So this is the company you work for. Carl Rakamundra has given you the credits necessary to purchase custom tailor fit, like high-end corporate dress, like the nicest. And you have identification and even aliases. You can tell me what those are later, but you'll be somebody else. And you are buyers from a pharmaceutical company called Kelstar. And you are here to, according to what you have in the suitcase, you will be taking a taxi to a operations center not submerged, above water. And you'll be meeting with a sea harvester point of contact, and you'll discuss the purchase. So that's what Carl Rockamander has worked out for you. And then meanwhile, those who are supposedly working for Vampire Landleth, you will take a taxi to looking for the province. You'll be leaving the Ott Park Federation. And you'll take a planetary taxi to... well, to another country. I suppose it doesn't matter that much. The bottom line being that you'll actually meet with a 2 or 3 representatives from the Pan-Galactic Friends of Life who have these concerns and basically want their own undercover agents to go undercover with these Dugadasi hunts and figure out what's going on. Is there any preparations that you all want to make before you split up and you embark on this?
Yeah, we need surreptitious cameras. We need little cameras with recording equipment.
Let me look at the tech level of the planet. Yeah, I think they could do that. It'll be the same cost as, because I assume you mean like really, really nice, like totally reliable and discreet and everything. So I'll say it's the cost of like a personal computer. But it'll
Okay.
be, yeah.
Done. Well worth it, in my opinion. I think we should each get one, Shipley.
Yes, in case we get split up.
Okay.
Or just to get it from multiple angles, or in case, we have to, one of us has to,
One of us, yeah.
gets jammed, or, yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying? I mean, don't think negatively. Come on now. Shot. Come on.
All right.
Why would they shoot us?
Who has
I can't wait to get the body cam on books.
So, but Doc Ocean, any ideas for preparation for your double agent undercover split-based operation?
I think we've got our vac suit, and can we discreetly carry our guns? Is there a way to discreetly carry our guns?
Let me, once again, it's been a while since I looked. Let me look. You'd have to get them past customs.
How would a group called the Pan-Galactic Friends of Life feel about guns?
So, yeah, unfortunately, and I remember this now, I apologize, it's been a few weeks. Squalia has a really strict culture around carrying weapons, and in the like underwater cities that are common here where you've landed your ship, there's these really tight spaces, and you get the impression that weapons and diseases are like two big no-nos to people here. That being said, you got some options. You can try to find a fence or like a black market, or you can try to smuggle a weapon in. And if you have a holdout pistol that you've purchased, it'd have to be on the ship though. It'll be much easier to smuggle it in.
Do you think, Books and Chapman, do you think we need a gun, or do you think we can go gunless on this run?
I don't think we necessarily need a gun. If we're going undercover, I don't know. I guess, well, here's the thing. We're just going to get the information, right, to see what it is. I assume we would have time to, like, prepare if we're actually doing that. So I don't think for this step of the plan we would need weapons.
So would we need a camera too?
Yeah, I think we should have cameras
Yes.
just in case.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
the whole party will pay out for whatever it takes. I'll bring my net with me. That's a nice close range, tight space melee weapon.
Your
I doubt
moment of
they're
it all comes down to this. When you first
We're on a
got that
fishing
net.
planet. I brought my fishing gears.
Yeah, I still have some fishing line that I
There
keep
you
in my
go.
pocket just in case.
But we're really bringing back like all the equipment we bought in that first session.
All right. That's a good question, though, about weapons. That's smart. Okay, so... All right, with that, with all the preparation completed... Put something here to bookmark this. Let me get rid of all these doodles. And... we'll start with you make your way back through customs, and you maybe you even kind of space yourselves apart so that if in case somebody's spying on you, no one thinks that you're connected in any way. Let's see here. You take a taxi. I'll start with the Vanpar Landlith group to the Pan-Galactic Friends of Life. This is an interplanetary taxi, so it departs from one of these underwater cities, what's called a pylon. It looks like, I don't know if you've all ever played BioShock, but it looks like an underwater skyscraper kind of deal, and then it'll go up out of the water for a certain distance as well. And the whole city kind of has this tight, narrow design to it. And anyways, you leave in this underwater taxi, and then it goes into the atmosphere where it can gain a higher airspeed, and then you basically take this air car flight over to a different nation, and it lands at another spire, and it docks, and it docks, and you go out. There's somebody waiting for you. This is a minor dock. You think it might accommodate some small spacecraft, but not large ones. And it has different flags than the Ott Park Federation. This is a different country. And there is a person here to meet you. They probably have that typical thing where they're like holding up a sign. Probably they expect you all by name. So it probably says, like, literally, Chapman, since you, well, no, actually, interestingly, it was Bellamy and Shipley that talked to Vanpar Landlith. But anyways, it'll have your names on it. And, let's see, his name is... Hernandez. And you see your names on a sign. If you approach him, he says, are you Dr. Lamar Ocean and Mr. Books and Mr. Chapman and Mrs. Lothak?
Mrs. I take a look at Lothak, and I was like, who's the lucky dog?
And yeah, she is also surprised to get to be called Mrs. and be treated with, But,
I've been told my daughter just threw up, so I'll be back as soon as I can.
Okay, I hope she's okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, anyways, yeah, you,
It's us.
Oh, well, hello. My name is, they just call me Rodriguez. I am and you can tell this guy is Villani. That is to say, he is a human. And probably from Corward. He's probably not from the Spinward Marches. And kind of short, stocky, and olive skin. And he says, I'm somewhat of an expert on local customs and culture. I've studied it before I came here. It's it's what I offer our organization. But if you'll follow me, I can invite you to our the director, Dr. Marc Romaine, which is also totally like a Solomani name, like that'd be from Coreward, or the Solomani Rim or something.
I'll lead the way.
All right. So you get in another taxi, and they take you to an office, and it is nice in here, and it looks like it has like fake wood, and there are bookshelves and plush furniture, and Hernandez is dressed fairly nice as well, by the way. Are you guys wearing your vac suits?
I guess so. We look
Straight
like
off,
schmucks.
straight off the starship.
Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're expecting travelers, right? So, in this office is a man. Look here. He's a short, skinny man. With pale hair fading and white on the sides, and a kind, gentle hazel eyes. And he looks at you all and he smiles and he says, "Please come in and take a seat." And the seats here are plush and comfortable. They're like old American armchairs. So
I make myself right at home.
he says, I don't usually talk to travelers. And he looks at you and he can see like the cyberware, on your face. Like it's obvious that you're marked in different ways. And he says, did our mutual friend tell you about our situation? And then he nods toward Hernandez to like close the door.
Yeah, we got the quick and dirty version of it.
I see. I am the director of a group called the Pan-Galactic Friends of Life. You might have heard of us. The work that we did, Coreward, helping the free-range birds of Bellerophon. I'm sure you've heard of that, right? Probably you haven't heard of that. I don't know.
Love my birds free range. It's better that way.
He looks at you and he can tell you have no idea what you're talking about. He's disappointed. And he says, "Well, I understand. Perhaps it's best. We have an undeserved reputation, you see. First of all, we always seek to cooperate with local authorities in our work, you understand. It's just that Squalia is not an imperial world, and it's fractious here, and we've had trouble getting things done. And our opponents in court are very evasive. They've been able to evade the law. But right to it, have you on your ride in? Did you happen to look outside? Have you seen on the ocean floor anything strange? Something, say, not blue, not ocean-like?
I guess we didn't say anything to that effect when we were in that part. We wouldn't have previously gotten a chance to see a Dagadosi, would we?
I don't think so.
Any time that we spent on Squalia?
Yeah. Because usually the times that you've been on Squalia, you've been in the tight corridors of the spire cities, the underwater cities. I don't think there's been any situations other than takeoff and landing where you've been outside the spire.
And yeah, my answer is no.
Ah, well, you're missing out. Squalia is a beautiful planet, and the ecosystem here is robust and resilient. It could support more humans. The biodiversity it's astonishing. And he gets this twinkle in his eye. He's like, there are these things called green mats. They're like floating islands, but they are entirely biological. They consist of a combination of bacteria and kelp and local sea life, and also the remains where different maritime life goes to die and is collected by the green mats. It manages the oxygen and the atmosphere, and it also provides all of the food for the planet. Have you tried any of the seafood here? And Lothak is like, I love Squalia seafood. And he's like, oh, all green mat. And he like motions outside to all the stuff floating out, like the goo. And she's like, oh. And he's like, well, a crucial element of the ecosystem of Squalia is a creature called a Dugadasi, or at least that's what the locals call it. It means something like island, and anyways, the Dugadasi survive on a fish type life form called a screaker, and they help manage the green mats, and they're crucial to the planet's ecosystem. Well, it seems that McClellan Industries, at some point, it was discovered that the adolescent form of the Dugadasi, called a Adaglu by the locals. And then Rodriguez, he says, that means island son. Thank you, Rodriguez. And then he goes and he says, they secrete something just prior to their adolescent phase, which a very small amount of has a type of a drug they call PDPT. It's like an antibiotic, but
I'm back.
Everything okay?
Yeah. This is par for the course for raising kids.
Indeed.
and for the way today has gone so
I'm
far.
so sorry. Yeah, indeed.
Just the kind of day. It's fine. It's Lent.
Yeah.
Glory to God for all things.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that, I'm glad she's okay. Yes, they do throw up a lot.
Yeah, she's fine.
It's astonishing how much they throw up.
It's astonishing. It's astonishing how good a mood they're in afterwards. He's just chatting everything up and telling us how the world works and everything. So
that's good.
She's back to her normal self. Yeah.
Well, they're just getting a lore dump on the ecosystem of the planet Squalia, and how the kelp and the local wildlife interfaces with the smaller fish, and how the blah blah blah. And anyways, this guy he goes on like this, but
the worm and the spice and the worm.
Yeah,
is there a connection?
Yeah, and he says that basically the adolescent form of this Dugadasi, and he, by the way, he says Dagadasi, they can be like 10 kilometers long, which is why they're called islands. There are these creatures that can be like literal islands, and there's an entire ecosystem that just exists on its back. And anyways, this PDPT drug can it can cure cancer cells. It's like a super drug. But only one in 100 adolescent Dugadasi will produce this in any sizable amount. So essentially, McClellan Industries came into the planet and just started slaughtering them so that they could get the drug. And eventually the locals started to complain and fight back, and eventually imperial law became involved. And they claim now that they have resorted to quotas, measured amounts that they take only for a research sample of the drug so that they can try to replicate it. We have our suspicions, based on our interactions with the locals, that they still break this quota. Now, the population of Dagadasi has decreased since McClellan has set up its operations here, and if they continue, it could shatter this ecosystem. It could render life here uninhabitable in several decades.
So where do we come in?
Well, it's not the sort of thing that we're usually good at or used to. Missy gives a nervous look. We want you to go with our pilot, Ahmet. He's a local, as well as Mr. Rodriguez here, my aide on Squalia. And we want you to make contact with the what is called the Dindlasar Ar Amakalar. We call them the Nomads. They're the indigenous people of this planet.
The Fremen, right? Guys, I really hope we get to ride on a Dagadasi.
If they're 10 kilometers long, you might
you will.
They might not know
people live on them. They have their own ecosystem. Yeah.
For all I know, we could be on one right now.
Right. I mean, maybe the baby ones are like exciting to ride on, like because they ride around.
What were you saying, Tiffany? I didn't hear it.
So if it's 10 kilometers long, like I don't think we would even notice.
Oh yeah, yeah. Books. Lothak's gonna be the Messiah. Is what's gonna probably happen. As it turns out, she's Muad'Dib. Anyways, yeah. So Ahmet comes in the room. He has he's also thin, like Dr. Romaine. He's got dark skin, and yeah, and then thinner than Rodriguez, like wispy. Both of them are wispy people. And he says, we want you to hear their concerns, and they claim that they have, they've come into conflict with the McClellan factory ships, which is what they're called. And it's driving them away from their usual hunting grounds. If you can gather evidence of this and confirm it, then we'll pay you 100,000 credits.
That sounds like a mighty fine idea to me.
And you just want evidence. That's it.
Hard evidence.
Hard evidence.
Now, if we can't find such a thing, I mean, if there's evidence to the contrary, I assume you'd also be interested in that, right? Not to put any doubts on your concerns, but...
If you could find hard evidence to the contrary, that would also be helpful. But we need to confirm this, and we don't have a means to. We were hoping maybe travelers with your skills, and he kind of like looks, he's like eyeing your cyberware, he knows you've been your Fifth Frontier War veterans and everything, might be more suited to the unpredictable nature of such a job.
Ooh. From what you've heard these indigenous nomads talking about, have any of them ever alluded to there being danger in their interactions with the McClellan subsidiary? Is there, any reason that we might have to fear for our lives or be ready to defend them, should the case be?
Well, we have reports, in fact, that they have indeed come into conflict at times, and then this actually Rodriguez interrupts. And he's like, "No, Doctor, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but the Aramakalar, they believe in the Muvazin. They are not violent by nature. The violence is only tied to the quest for the world soul. This is the only thing. I don't think that they would hurt us."
So I was talking about we had to worry about McClellan sending their guys to hurt us.
Oh, they
Yeah,
both,
no,
they both look. Yeah, they just assume. Yeah, you were talking about the Aramakalar.
Trust me, buddy. I've been shot out by corpos a lot more frequently than by I don't know, like indigenous pre-interstellar drive folks.
At this, they both look kind of like worried and confused. They're like, well, they wouldn't dare do that. Why, like you were Imperial citizens. They wouldn't possibly do that.
All right, so I get it. You haven't dealt with corpos a whole lot so far. That's why you send in guys like us. I give a knowing look to Oaks and Doc. I'm like, we'll be ready.
We got this.
All right. Well, with that, they will take you to a small undersea ship, and it looks like a little starcraft, like a ship's boat. And Achmet starts it up, and you guys get settled in, and you begin your journey toward one of the Aramakalar world ships, city ships. And I'm going to pan the camera over to the Kelstar team. So likewise, here you all are like dressed up all spiffy and everything. And probably Isabella tries to gently bring up what you mentioned, Bellamy, and says, Captain, I wonder if maybe this might be a situation where I could take the lead.
Oh, you want to take the lead?
Well, I haven't had a chance to actually feel like I really contributed to the crew, and I think this might be an area of expertise of mine. I haven't focused on acquisitions, but negotiation and buying is something I have got some experience in.
Shipley? Who do you think? Who do you think is better suited for this kind of work? That one? Or yours truly? I mean, let's be real, right? Shipley? I'll take your silence for a yes. Yeah, it's fine with me. It's fine, you know.
Yeah, so same thing. You take a taxi. Now, this is a place nearby. It's also on the surface. It's not underwater. Or if I have a picture, I think I do. And it's another spire, but it's smaller than the Ott Park Federation one. It just looks incredible in here. You take an air car here, and then you're escorted by like suited people that are clearly armed to trying to think of how to describe it. The floors here are polished to the point that you can see your reflection. There is catered food here. There are artificial waterfalls in the place. And in a back area, there are layers of glass, which are of such a high tech level that the glass will like change, like it'll go from transparent to wall to like the scene of something, and it looks, looks like you're outside or something. And they bring you into a room like this. You have been in a room like this once before. To meet with somebody, and you don't have to wait for somebody to show up. There is someone in here waiting, and it's a single person. And let's see here. This is clearly, well, I don't know, it's clearly. You get the sense soon, they introduce themselves as Secretary Shangamar Emisushan. And that gives you the sense like it's not like a Villani name. It's not a Soleimani name. It sounds very archaic. And it gives you the sense that maybe this is like an indigenous Sophont. She introduces herself. I'm Shangamar. And who are you? And who are you? What are your names? Your cover names?
Crispus.
You just say that? You just say Crispus. She's like, oh, well, nice to meet you, Crispus. And she shakes your hand. What about Shipley? What is Shipley's name? Maybe AFK. Isabella.
Shipley, you're muted.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh no,
I'm going by
muted?
Beth. I was.
Oh no. Okay.
So you were probably saying something really funny like 5 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
Oh no. Okay. Beth.
I'll always remember it as being really funny.
Les goes by Benedict, and Isabella goes by Elsie. And
I felt a cold thrill run through my heart when you said Benedict just now. I don't know why.
all right. So
What's Shipley's fake name?
Oh,
I'm going by Beth right now.
Gotcha.
Beck?
Yes.
okay. All right. So let's see here. She sits down with you and tells you to take a seat. And she says, so, if you have any questions about the PDPT beta, I can try to answer any questions you have. And she starts handing out brochures. It's just like a 3-fold brochure with a bunch of information about Sea Harvester and Susag, the subsidiaries from Clone Industries, and PDPT beta, and it's got a whole bunch of like kind of imagery and graphics of like the planet Squalia, which is a beautiful planet from the air. And it's got like sea life, and the graphics and all kinds of stuff like that.
So,
Wait, what's Isabella's cover?
Isabella's is Elsie.
Okay.
but it was Benedict.
No, that's Velez.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
What were you gonna say?
I'm gonna thumb through this stuff. Like, do they have amounts? Like, how much for sale and how much?
Yeah, and I'm gonna
per
check to
unit
see if they have an environmental statement.
Okay.
Like, if they're actually operating under these quotas, are they like publicizing that? Are they just gonna kind of not mention the environmental quotas on their, their sales side of things? How is that handled or not handled?
Yeah. And you're just looking in the brochure for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just like perusing whatever she just handed us.
Okay, so yeah, you look through the brochure, one thing that you see, so it doesn't like directly address it as a controversy or some kind of, they don't admit to any wrongdoing, but it does directly say the amount. It mentions there's a quota, that they have Dagadasi operations, what they call like collecting operations. They have 12 sea harvester factory ships that are these like massive mega ships that are surface only, and they can kill one pre-reproductive adult per week only. And they take very small amounts of the PDPT beta sample, and those are used entirely by SUSAG research teams to figure out how to replicate it, and that's its only purpose for synthesizing it. So that's what that says. And then actually, let me find, I have the page 44. I have the brochure. So Bellamy, the other things that you see, I'll just skim through. I won't say what it is. I'll just kind of skim what this has. It has a profile for Sea Harvester, and it shows you the total cost and the amount of investment, like in mega credit value. And it says they've been operating here proudly for 8 years. It has a breakdown of some of the costs and percentages and the debt versus profit. So this would be almost like an investor brochure instead of like a buyer of PDPT beta. Yeah, that's what you see skimming through it.
And well, I'm sure my colleague has much better questions than me. I'll just keep looking at the. Do you have any more detailed financial information that we can look at? It looks like might be an interesting place to put our money.
She looks surprised, Mrs. Emusashan, and she looks taken aback, and she says, "Oh, I wasn't prepared for potential investment.
Well, you make it look so attractive. I mean, it's. I mean, if you got a few bucks to put together, then might as well be for something that looks like it might be interesting and profitable."
Well, yes, actually, we are looking for. It is possible. So, and then she like holds her ear for a second, and you can tell that she has some kind of device, and she says, "I need to take a call, but I just want to make sure you're interested in becoming an investor on our Kelstar is." I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, and I'm looking at Isabella the whole time to make sure she's not like sweating at the fact that I'm talking. But
oh, she is totally, yeah, of course.
Well, maybe I mean, of course, really, what we're here to do is buy. So I guess I'll just hand it over to her. I don't want to overstep my bounds here.
This this has like an impact though. You can tell like maybe the representative is a little more intimidated now, and she says,
"That's probably good."
Yeah. Before I take this call, I just wonder, do you have any other questions? And the only thing Isabella brings up is she just says, "Well, we're interested in. We would actually like to have some more information. Where is your corporate headquarters? Like where we could maybe spend some more time." And actually, she takes your idea of investment. She takes it and runs with it. She says, maybe we could develop a closer partnership than we had anticipated. and she says, "Well, unfortunately, this is our headquarters. But wait, well, hold on. I'm sorry. I have to take this call." And you can tell she's getting bothered by something again. She gets up and she leaves. So now you're here. You're in this room. And this is, she said, Sea Harvester's like corporate headquarters here, and you're by yourself.
Is this a weird time to be using our comms with one another? Can we, chime in at all, or are we like not in the right situation to be saying anything in contact?
I think that this would have happened while you were actually on the taxi.
Okay.
So I'm just going to make it so that you can hear our conversation with.
Sure.
Yeah.
Try to eavesdrop as best we can. I say this is good, and you want to ask them to take a closer look at their operations before you're ready to make a bigger investment. So that way you actually, maybe we can even unite and you guys can see the whaling operation up close just like we can.
And I'm going to say to Shipley and Isabella and Velez, yeah, I mean, maybe this is more interesting than we thought it was. It might be good to get a look. And I'm going to be looking super hard at all of them while I'm saying this, like,
Wink,
play
wink.
along, type of thing, like treat it like it's serious, because it is.
Yeah, I'll talk
Captain,
back
you're not
about how they
actually
have a
thinking of
really
investments.
well put together operation, and it looks very professional, and the information we had clearly didn't measure up. All very flattering. But like, what's in the room?
I mean, we came here. Yeah.
Aside from the chairs or whatever.
It looks as if nothing is, but you can tell that this room is chock full of presentation like tools. The walls can turn into presentations. It's full of panels, and the whole thing is just tech from floor to ceiling.
Yeah.
They'd be crazy to be hiding their cooked books in here.
Why? What are you thinking? You gonna hack into the PowerPoint?
We can't hack into anything.
I just wanted to know like what else was there.
Yeah, it has that kind of like super postmodern style where it's very barren and glossy, and both the table and the walls have a similar appearance, and the floor is like a faux marble, and then the chairs are like a dark color.
Okay.
So, and just to be clear, well, anyway, yeah, we came here as buyers, and we want to, and so we need to buy as much as possible, I guess, but
Well, all right.
But it looks like,
she comes back out. Shingamar Imurashan comes back out, and she says, I'm so sorry that I apologize, but I'm afraid that I don't have the authorization currently to make a sale of PDPD beta.
I frowned at the booklet and asked if they're having supply issues. We came here to purchase a large quantity, but it looks like these restrictions, 1 a week, can't possibly be enough to support an actual production. I understand if you don't have enough material.
Yes, I could see how you could get that impression, Mrs. Beck, but I tell you what, there's one last recourse that we could do, and I could arrange transportation to the person that could authorize a purchase, just for this special circumstance.
Well, of course, we'd greatly appreciate that.
I apologize for the inconvenience. It's our operations manager. She's on a factory ship tour right now, so it's Director Anna Gregor. She has the direct authority to authorize a sale, and she might be able to work this out with the supply that we have. She's currently on one of our factory ships, the Globetic Salami, and we can get you transportation there. If that works for you, you'll be in the midst of a harvesting operation. In fact,
Sounds perfect.
consensus. Yeah.
okay. Well, again, I deeply apologize for the inconvenience. We'll arrange for your transportation right away, and then she gets up and leaves, and eventually security, people come in to escort you, and back to an air car, and this time they take you pretty far away. So, you're essentially in trail of the other group if you're communicating that back and forth. So, meanwhile, the other group. You are on a small ship when all of a sudden, as you're making an approach into this large vessel, you see toward the ocean floor several of these massive stingray looking things. There's a bunch of them, and there's a ship. Its hull cracked, bubbles bursting out from the pressure coming out from the where it's flooding. It's tilted on its side and sinking toward the ocean floor. It looks like there's 3 of these manta ray sharky things that are circling it.
Do we have weapons on our water car?
You do not.
Could we make out how recent this was? Is there? I mean, I would imagine anybody in this is dead, but could we see how recent it was? Anything that would show us?
Yeah, as you take a look, you can see how the inside of this watercraft is flooding. In fact, it looks like there's someone inside desperately trying to find a way to make it stop flooding. They are still alive, about to drown inside of it. It must have only happened in the past couple of minutes.
Oh, wow. I'm just wondering, do we have any kind of towing capabilities on the ship?
You could probably come up with something if you wanted to. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking that maybe we could, because I don't know a safe way that we would be able to gather them onto our ship if we're underwater, without the pressure or anything crushing them or putting us in danger. So I'm thinking if we could kind of tow them up to a safer place and just kind of drop them off and then, make contact with them.
All right.
That's my plan.
There's cabling. It's not intended for towing, but I believe you're in a vac suit. So you'll need to attach that cable, and then you'll also need to be able to get away from these things.
All right. I imagine we have lights of some kind that we can project, like headlights and other kinds of lights.
Okay.
I wonder if we start blasting those on and off rapidly, make a crazy pattern with them, we can maybe try to scare away these mantas or at least keep them at bay.
And I'm sorry, just to clarify, do we want to do this? Do we agree? Just because, I mean, this could, we could be putting ourselves in a lot of danger. Maybe we should just talk about it for a second. If this is, if we want to go through with this,
you have
just
about.
put that out
they
there.
have a lot of time.
You have about 30 seconds to decide.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right.
I put on my helmet. I grab my net and ready with it. I'm ready to head out there myself. And I say, one of you be ready to, flash the high beams in these mantis' faces to keep them away from me while I try to bring this cable on over to that other ship.
Yeah, Books,
Okay.
you find basically what would be like spare electrical cabling. and so you can secure it to a portion of the outside of this watercraft and this air car, and then you know, he can try to attach it. So I'm gonna make this like a skill test chain. One person's getting out and trying to attach the thing. Another person is trying to like flash the lights to distract these things. Who's doing that? And yeah, is it going to be Books or Doc Ocean? Who's got the?
I'll do it.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Doc Ocean. What do you think? What do you think? What are you going to do?
Just standing by in case somebody needs medical attention.
They very well could. Okay, so all right, so you
Live streaming all of this for Captain and Shipley. Like, check this out.
books.
And actually, I have a quick question. Is there anything like that? Any kind of like sonar or like some kind of like sound, or not sound, but that's like built into this thing that could deter those creatures? Like,
no, it's not like a. It's just a car. Basically, it's like an underwater car. So here you go. You're flying in. Achmet is resistant to this book. So Books, you gotta be like, all right, get out of the way. It's Books time. You gotta get Achmet out of the way because he is not down with dying for this. Rodriguez is also like, what are you all doing? You know, and Books, you take control. You take the controls, and probably you have to actually flood this place, partially, and then like reseal it. So Doc Ocean, you probably rush to reseal it. You know, you're well under the water. You could, you know, and you probably seal your vac suits. So that's a handy thing. Rodriguez and Achmet don't have that. And anyways, you get outside. Chapman, and you're hanging onto the outside of this thing while Books is like flying it in. And,
wait, quick question. I'm
yeah.
sorry. If we're going out of the ship with this cable, and there's a break in the ship, why don't we just grab the person and bring them back instead of towing the ship?
Well, I guess it depends on how many people there are in that ship.
Okay.
As far as you can tell, there's just one.
That's a good point.
Unless the ship's valuable, but I think it's probably safer this way because then we don't have this heavy, this ship behind us.
All right.
In that case, this cable is attaching to me so that I have a line that I don't get like lost in the void.
All right. So Books. So actually, let's start with Books. Make a roll 2d6. See how well you distract these things. This is going to affect the. Wow, you did it! You did it. He's hanging on, as you're like swinging this thing around under the water and like flashing the lights on these things to like scare them off and distract them. And at the same time, you fly it up, upside down right next to this sinking ship. And then Chapman, you jump off, and Chapman, you got to roll a 2d6 to see. This will determine whether or not you can avoid something.
I got a total of 7.
7, okay. You were able to grab a hold of her, this person. Unfortunately, something swings by and you're unable to avoid it. And it crashes into you. For...
Rolling this.
Holy smokes, 15 points of damage.
Oh no.
Are you alive?
That goes to my endurance first, right?
Endurance first, yeah.
Okay, so my endurance is 12, so that's at 0, and then I have 3 more I got to distribute to, Dex. So
Yeah, you can do that.
I believe that means I'm unconscious, but I'm alive.
Okay.
Can we go out there and grab them?
To rescue.
Yeah. So here you are, right? Like you're flying away now. You've got this tether with this cable that's been attached, and Chapman is attached to this person. They're both unconscious, and they're just like flapping in the water, and you're trying to fly away from these things, and then these sharks turn around, and they're like rushing towards you as fast.
I guess we're just watching Books get eaten by sharks live on his video camera.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah. So you've thrown Ahmed to the side, and you're trying to fly this thing. And these two are just like bait. It's just like fish right now, like a spinner bait. Like, please come eat me.
Can we fly out of the water?
Yeah. You could go up to the surface.
Let's go to the surface as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Like, I mean,
that's one way to rescue
Does
me.
it just go to the surface, or like is it like?
Let me give you.
plane?
Let me also give you the topography, like of what you have here. Okay, so let me scribble. All right, so let's say you're here, and you've got 3 of these things coming after you. Okay. Meanwhile, you have this on the surface. You've got the world ship, because you all were coming this way, and then you dive down to try to get this rescue ship, and then you see it. A massive thing, like that big, like blotting off, like, nearby. This is probably, a round or 2 away. And then, this is like 2 rounds maybe to get to the surface. Does that
You
make
say a
sense?
big-
Let me draw.
When you say a big thing, or like, what is that? What
It's a Dagadasi.
Oh. Oh. Do we have any bait or anything like we could?
That's not me.
Yeah, like anything we could like jump, like throw out, like when you're in a dungeon and you throw like some meat so a monster goes away. Can we do something like that?
I don't think we can open the
actions on me,
doors.
but-
You can't open the
No.
doors while we're underwater. There's too much pressure, right?
I'll say that you can like exchange the pressure in such a way. What's going to happen is, so you've already done this once, but if you do it again, I'll say that you can only do this like 2 more times total before it gets flooded, and it's equal at the outside, and then Rodriguez and Ahmed will not have any air.
Okay.
So we
Well,
just
if
get
we
to the
could open it,
surface.
could we bring them in? Like, would we have enough time to like reel them in real quick?
Yeah, like somebody who's not flying it could get out and try to pull them in. Yes.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, so you do that. You only have 2 chances left, and then this place is going to be partially full of water. Ahmed is freaking out. He is freaking out. He's like talking in, not Anglic, in another language, and Rodriguez is scared too. So it'll all be a matter of time. Now you change the pressure. It floods with water. You get outside. You seal it, and you start pulling them in as these things are like, coming towards you. And meanwhile, Books, which way are you flying? Up
So the
or-
options are to go up to the like the ship thing, and then otherwise, I mean, you said the other thing is the that creature we're looking for, like, right? That's like what's in front of us.
Yeah. And you can go any direction you want. It's just that you're probably about 2 rounds from getting to the surface. You're probably a round if you go directly towards the Dagadasi. And it looks like a giant cavern that's like, nearly a kilometer wide, or, well, not a kilometer, but hundreds of feet wide.
Okay. I mean, I think the surface we don't know about the Dagasaki, right? Like, what do we know about it so far?
Okay, so you start flying towards the surface. Lamar, Dr. Ocean, this 2d6 roll will determine how well you can pull this off in time.
Okay, just 2d6 straight up.
Yeah, to get an 8. Nice.
Yes.
It goes perfectly well. You pull them in before the dag sharks can get to them. You get them close together. You release the pressure. It starts flooding the chamber again. You get back within the water. You get the inside of this ship is now mostly flooded. You get Rodriguez and Ahmed up against the to where they're getting air. Maybe because you're a doctor, you know that this unconscious person could drown. So you start doing CPR in the air bubble while Books is like flying up to the ship, and you make it up to the surface, and you like get all the water out of it, and this person comes to life, not unconscious, and starts speaking in a foreign tongue.
What are we taking care of Chapman at this point? Too?
Yeah, Doc Ocean.
I hope so.
I think I can't remember if somebody could help me out. Maybe you remember, Thomas. Does it just automatically work, or do you have to roll? I can't remember.
I think I had to roll.
Okay.
Pretty sure I had to roll.
I believe. I believe you. If you get an 8, then it only takes 3 hours for him to recover. If you don't get an 8, then he will be wounded, and it'll take time.
Here we go.
Nice. All right. So by the time you're brought in on the ship, so now you've got, I'll say, all your endurance. Well, how much of your dexterity did you lose?
3, so I went from 10 down to 7.
Okay. So let's say you get it all back, except now you're at half your endurance.
Okay. When I wake up in 3 hours.
Yeah. Okay, so you get on the ship, and it's wild over here. Let me see, what time is it? Okay, we still got time.
I hope that we just rescued one of the Fremen, because that means we have it in good, boys.
Yeah, no, she.
I'm gonna wake up in this like the hall of the Fremen, and they're gonna have palm fronds and like grapes over me and everything. They're like, "Oh, this hero saved one of our people."
Yeah, in fact, eventually, so she's speaking some other language for a while, and eventually she figures out that you only speak English, and she says, she goes, let me find my notes here. You Bansilar. And then she like glares at Akhmet, glares at him. She says, "Ha, cool." And she turns back and she says, "I am Salal Kafat. I am the daughter of Arumimaral." She says that as if like you should know what that is, and that's a big deal.
I would say, I would look at her and I'd get like closer, and I would say, "You realize we just saved your life, and we almost lost one of our men doing it. How about you show some respect? And I don't care who your father is."
She frowns. She hates that, and she says, "Well, you are Yabansi, but you are outsiders, but you have earned a safe place to sleep and eat and food to enjoy, and I cannot deny you an audience with Aram Miral for what you have done." She says all this like super serious, and you dock with this ship, and then when you get out of the ship, or get out of the boat, everybody is, it is a cacophony of like colors and smells, and it is very chaotic inside the ship, and people, it's very crowded, that you see hundreds of people inside this place. And it looks like the interior of the ship is a mixture of stone, but like the stone is forming the hull of the ship. You would know that would be like impossible, obviously. It's a high-tech level ship, like tech level 10, 11. You suspect that you hear the hum of fusion power on the decking of the place. but it looks like a wild bazaar of like a marketplace of like people selling stuff, and there are people sitting and drinking tea and playing chess and just all kinds of stuff going on, and lots of stuff being sold and lots of food being eaten. And that's where I'm gonna pan the camera back to the other group. Let's see here.
Have we seen the shark video yet?
Yeah. So I think that you would have been. I don't know how that'd be possible. No, that's too high tech. It's just recording. Yeah. I don't think you've got like an iPad like watching it. Maybe you do. I don't know. If you did, it would have been while you were riding out to where you were going. So.
I mean, we've at least got the audio.
Yeah, you heard the screaming and panicking.
That's true.
I had to like sit there stone faced in this taxi. And just...
Books is getting eaten.
Okay, have you guys seen Disney's Atlantis: The Lost Empire? Because we just made it to like the third act of that movie. Literally makes sense and everything.
It was not dead. Sound off.
The other group comes in via air taxi, and you see a massive ship. It's I don't know, probably a kilometer across itself, or probably not that long. It's probably like several hundred meters, you know. And it otherwise looks like a naval vessel. There are something that would be immediately recognizable to both Bellamy and Shipley are the laser battery emplacements, of which you suspect there are almost a dozen on its surface. And then on its prow, a missile launcher that would be used, like, you know, as a ship's emplacement or an anti-aircraft battery. And otherwise it looks like a surface naval ship. And you're brought in to land at a pad. And
you all get attacked a lot?
you ask Shagamar Amurashan that?
Yeah.
She says, well, actually, don't be alarmed. This is not a vessel of war, but as you may have noticed from the brochure, the Dagadasi are massive. They call them island. The largest ones, the Adabasi, they call island father, and they can be. It's like a floating island. So during our gathering operations, it takes actual weapons to harvest them. And
makes sense.
And then she hesitates. She thinks about something. She says yes, and you can tell that she withholds some information. And
you also get attacked.
And she, let me get rid of these tokens here. You don't need those. There you go. And, so, she doesn't answer that. She, like, laughs it off. and eventually you're brought into, the officers' quarters. Which I'll actually make, like, a little token here, if it'll let me.
Is there still danger about?
Here we go. Here's like a token. Okay, so you come in to land here on the deck, and you are going to go to the back of the ship, and something that you notice right away. I'll kind of describe some of the things that you see other than like the missile launchers and stuff. It does look like a naval vessel. Oh, I wonder if I have a better picture of it. Oh, here we go. Nice. who the artist is. But anyways, you go to the back of the ship, and you're escorted there. There are a lot of people in uniform, and this begins to increasingly look like a Imperial naval vessel, like a military ship. And the people are in this plain gray coverall, but then there are also people in in uniforms that are light blue, and you can see that they are armored and wearing submachine guns. And they're standing guard in multiple places. I'm gonna roll for it. Okay. Yeah, that's what you see. And they take you to the back of the ship and to an elevator. Is there anything that you want to try to do along the way?
Just make sure that we're sort of taking it all in. Keep looking at the brochure while we're doing it, like, turning around, looking like tourists, looking at stuff, and
okay, yeah,
looking interested. I suppose they're not supposed to be doing any of this, right? Or they're not supposed to be selling this drug, right?
There's no restriction on selling the drug. They're just, they had quotas imposed on them, and they're supposed to be adhering to them.
So I guess I'm going to look for evidence that...
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, since we know they're harvesting one right now, I guess, does it seem like they've harvested another one recently? I don't know if you they have equipment out maybe, or processing stuff or meat, or I don't even know what they do, but some sort of, yeah.
Roll a d6, and then while you're rolling a d6, one thing that you do notice is all of a sudden you hear the charge of a laser battery. And you hear crow crow, it cracks through the air, and you hear you smell something burned, and something falls from the sky.
Interesting.
Can
I get a good look at what fell, or is it too fast?
No, yeah, you can see it. It looks as if it's like a pterodactyl. It looks like that flying creature from Rally.
Okay, that's something. I don't think they're supposed to be shooting down birds.
Alright, you get a 6. Let me see if you find anything. You see, as you're going into, as you walk across the deck of the ship and you go to the back part of it, it's like a building back here. So, the elevator stops on a floor, and a person dressed in mess attire is pushing a tray. And they seem to join you where you're going. It looks like you're going to the officers' quarters, and you can see from where the elevator opens, that there's kitchen staff down the hallway, and there's a group of them that have been gathered together by what looks like a supervisor or someone in charge. They're all in a mess outfit, and they look very worried. And it looks like they're huddled and talking about something.
I'll make sure to get a video of that so I can take it out of context later.
Nice. Yep. All right. So the elevator continues on, and it goes up to what looks like the 3rd floor of this of the aft, what's aft of the bridge. And you are brought into another conference room. This conference room is smaller, it's cramped, and it is Spartan. and there's metal walls. But there is a woman here in, let me see what she looks like. She, excuse me, is, you're pretty sure, a 5th Frontier War veteran. Because it looks like she has cybernetic eyes. And she's got dark skin and dreadlocks. And she's wearing cargo pants. And it looks like, and she's kind of like got a sweaty t-shirt on. And it looks like she's like, I don't know what to say except like hyper type A. Like right in the middle of something always. And on to the next thing, you know? And she sees that you come in with her secretary. And she says, "Oh, hello. Shangamar, thank you. Please, what can we get you? Was it a long journey? Were you comfortable?"
Reasonably.
Okay, well, the best you could ask for on this planet, if you ask me. My name is Anna Gregor, and I am the Director of Operations for Susag Sea Harvester. And we collect the miracle drug PDBT beta. And we think it's going to change the entire Imperium.
That's what we're hearing. It sounds exciting.
I think so. My secretary told me that you're interested in buying some samples.
Well, that word samples. It just sounds so small, you know?
She sighs. Yes, indeed it is small. And yes, it is samples. I don't know what you've been briefed on so far, but it is hard to get a large amount of PDBT alpha. It is, or beta. It's very, it's not easy to get, and it's very rare. But I think that we can find several samples, and for the right price, I think we can find ways to get more.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, it's not exactly my area of expertise, but Benedict, Beck, what do you say? And you, this one. I literally forgot Isabella's pseudonym.
Elsie.
Oh, I thought you were a character.
Well, I was, and because Bellamy also forgot.
Method acting. That's what I call it.
She coughs and she says, "Yes, maybe could we some specific numbers, specific prices. Let's talk details. And she says, well, and she in fact does not give details. Anna says, Susag, my parent company, doesn't usually approve of sales to outside customers. So it really is a matter of what you're offering as to what we might be able to accomplish here.
What did that kit come with?
Kit?
Our disguise kit, you know. We had Kelstar.
Yeah, Kelstar LLC, yeah. And you just had money to buy clothes and identification, and yeah.
On the brochures, is there like a price range for what above board market costs for this drug are? So that we at least have a starting point idea of what to include for a bribe or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. On the brochure, it says that, let's see. They usually make an income, in a year, they will kill 1,000 of these and make, Oh, this is interesting. The projected number of animals taken per year. So they've been in operation for 8 years, and they had their most profitable year in the 6th year. They took 1,000 Dugadasi in the first year, 9,000 the second year, 15,000 third, 23,000, 30,000. In year 6, they did 40,000 Dugadasi, and they made 1 billion credits. 1,000 mega credits. And then by year 7, it became 28,000, and this year they've only done 600. And you know that you're about 2/3 of the way through the year, and they've only made 150 mega credits this year, and that's the max quota is 600.
I feel like it.
When did they put this quota in?
This year.
They're like 10 kilometers on average. Then at this point, they've wiped out like a.
The adults are 10 kilometers.
The adults are
young
10
ones are
kilometers.
harvesting.
Right?
Right. Okay, that makes
smaller.
sense. That makes sense. I'm just thinking like they've got to have wiped out at least the size of like India, of equivalent of like Ireland by this point.
Well, let me ask you, how sustainable are these populations? I mean, it can, I know this rule went in this year from what we hear, but say it was removed or something. I mean, how can you keep this operation going, or has it got a limited time span on it?
She gives an exasperated sigh, and she says they were implemented this year because of a bunch of activists that are alarmists and misinformed and have no idea what happens out here, and they've never seen one of these creatures before, and they are a bunch of troublemakers that go around the galaxy and do this to companies all the time, sinking companies and livelihoods and any option for progress in the Imperium. It is deeply frustrating. I cannot understand why and she's just like candid. She's like, I cannot understand why my company would have bent the knee to these people that this is destroying this company. We still have to have all of these ships and employees. We cannot reduce our operating costs. All of them are needed for research and defense and operating on the planet. And these creatures are fine. There's an entire planet. It is absurd. And then there's the locals. They're dying out anyways. If we had never came here in 50 years, no offense, she says, no offense to Shegamar, but the tribal communities, these nomads, that way of life has ended. So, I think, well, I'll tell you what. I'll say again, for the right price, we can find ways around the quotas.
I mean, Hellstar's got pretty deep pockets.
Well, she thinks. Deep pockets, eh? My secretary, I hope you don't mind, but we had discussed your earlier conversation, and you were talking about being a potential investment partner.
Well, it seems interesting, but I don't know how interested we'd be if we had to buy into a situation that was already hobbled, that is already turning itself unprofitable. Doesn't sound that attractive. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
It looks like yeah. Our interest was really based on the projections from before the quotas had kicked in. This looks like it's taken quite a hit.
I bet if we had the right investor and you bought shares in Susag, say on the order of 1,000 mega credits, or even a couple of RUs, if you can invest in Susag, we might be able to turn this operation around. And not only would we be able to change the quotas, which I think are
Unnecessary.
unnecessary,
And
but
non-sagely.
they're also impossible to enforce.
Yeah, I mean it's borderline criminal if you ask me. I mean, I know it's not a popular opinion to have, but it just doesn't seem right.
The fact,
you know, is this what we fought? Is this what we fought for? So we'd have to, you know, come back and not be able to make enough to rub 2 credits together, and anyway, it's just not right.
Treatment.
The fact that
they're denying medical treatment to all these people who need this drug.
she explodes into a whole rant about it, and she's totally on board with ranting about how, like, you know, this is completely upside down, and but anyways, she pitches the plan that essentially you could do like a hostile takeover. Like if you purchased shares in Susag, which is a smaller company, you could force the board and turn things around, and no one's going to care out here in the middle of nowhere in the Spinward Marches what you do with a bunch of fish.
Well, I got to tell you, to be able to make that sound good to our people, you know, we're going to have to see something that tells us that your operation hasn't been hobbled. I mean, you know, we gotta have something. If it was just the 2 of us, you know, it'd be a handshake would be good enough. But you know, we got our bosses we got to report back to and everything. So
she turns to Shagamar and she says, "Shagamar, prepare the ship for a hunt. Every laser battery, arm the launcher, all of it."
Yes.
She looks.
I hold up my hand for like a high five.
She high fives it.
Yes. I reach for my cutlass and forget that I couldn't bring it with me.
Okay. So meanwhile, with the Nomads.
I really enjoy the thematic parallel there, where like our team, I kind of cast myself out on the line as though I was bait, and then they literally just laid out the most obvious bait to get these guys on camera to just openly say, we can get around those quotas.
Yeah, let's go kill one right now.
Could you say that again a little louder, actually?
All right, so meanwhile on the this ship, let's see here. A few things happen. First of all, as you enter the ship, everyone starts to like greet Salal Kathid, and they utterly ignore you, like it's like you're a ghost, like it's like you don't exist, except for Ahmed, who is immediately grabbed hold of and dragged away. And Rodriguez is like, no, wait, this is my friend, what are you doing? And then he says it in their language. And you hear them say, again, Karkul, Aga Aramakala. You know, like, they're calling Ahmed Karkul. And they just start beating him up. And you see him just like a crowd of people just beating Ahmed up. And Salal Kafid, the woman with you, doesn't do anything. And then everybody's like totally ignoring you all. Like they just don't. It's like you're like a ghost.
I would quickly go up to the princess, the woman we saved. And I would say, you know, please stop them. You said that you would, you know, give us a room and keep us safe, and your people are attacking him.
Yes,
So.
Yes, of course. We'll get you a room, but not him. He is a kakul.
And what does that mean? I don't understand.
Rodriguez responds. He says, wage slave. Those who have turned their back on the Muvazin.
Okay. And I understand you have some problem with him, but for now, could you at least have your people stop beating him, and we could figure it out later? Could you do that because we saved you?
Ah. You wish to use your favor for him?
Well, we each get separate favors, right?
She shrugs and she commands something, and there's argument, and they argue fiercely, like so they don't just listen to her, but like some people like yell in the face of Salil, and she yells back, and they're going back and forth, and eventually pulls Ahmed away, and they drag you to a like an alcove. And the alcove turns out to be a very narrow, cozy little, vibrantly colored, curtained little, like, sleepy hole, like a place where you like a place that you go in and like with beds and cushions and stuff. And you see Lothak like looking at all the curtains and all the decorations, and just like wonder in her eyes, like she just loves them. And the Salil, she says, you have saved my life. Why have you come here?
Why? Excuse me. Why have we come here?
Yes. Why have you come here?
Well, we were rescuing you, and you saw the creatures in the water, the stingrays. So we needed a safe place to go, and it seems like you're also from here. So, two birds, one stone.
Just as you say this, there's a commotion in the crowd, and there's a bunch of yelling and talking, and then you hear crying, and then you hear like a lot of crying, and like wailing, actually, to be a better description of it. And people are bringing mangled bodies of people in, dead people that are they look like nomads, and you hear Salil like go out into the crowd, and she's talking and it's like they're arguing back and forth and about something, and yeah, it's just like a total commotion, and they're bringing in bodies, and they just leave you like this. And Ahmed's all beat up and stuff. He just curls up, exhausted, almost drowned to death, terrified, and then almost beaten within an inch of his life.
I give him medical care if I can.
You do that, and it helps him, and it brings him back up to like how Chapman is. Yeah. And they just
the faster.
They just leave you alone here, in this,
How much time has passed since our little rescue operation?
30 minutes.
Gotcha. I'm dreaming of, I don't know, eating fish fillet.
All right.
So
You
I
guys-
would.
You guys hunker.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead. No, please.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I was gonna talk to Doc and touch base, see what we think we should do.
I'm not sure. I think the faster we get off this ship, the better. We're in very hostile territory.
Yeah.
We need to let them know why we're here. We have to let them know that we're trying to collect evidence against McClellan Industries.
We're expecting to, at some point, get audience with the big cheese, right? Whoever calls the shots around here.
That's what she said. That she would give us an audience with her. I think with her father.
That seems
Which
like
could be
the
useful.
right time to explain all of that in full.
Rodriguez, what were they screaming about? Could you understand why they were wailing?
Yes. It sounded like Muharib Sayasinid. It's a failed hunt. A Dagadasi attacked and they failed in the hunt. It's often called the war within his shadow. They believe in what's called the world soul. And they believe that the shadow of the world soul exists beneath the Dagadasi. They feel like they've been judged.
So they hunt the Dagadasi too. The Nomads do.
This ship, every part of it is made from a Dagadasi. Every stitch of clothing they wear, every device, even the fusion drives. No one but them knows how to even do that.
So the Nomads are allowed to kill the Dagadasi at will without any quotas, while McClellan is restricted to only killing so many.
The Nomads only kill maybe a few a year, maybe one per, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 a tribe, a single ship per year, a single Dagadasi hunt, and they only kill some of them, some of the adolescents, but Sea Harvester, they would kill hundreds. They would kill the entire school.
So even if they technically are subject to quotas, it's just not even like relevant. Basically, this is just for them. This is a sustainable way of doing things. They've been doing it probably for a long time now.
I understand now. Yes.
A little girl comes up to Lothak and hands her a figurine of a whale, and then runs off shyly.
They seem to like Lothak. Maybe Lothak should be the one that's interpreting everything. I don't know.
I would ask Rodriguez a question. You said that they're upset because they failed the hunt. When's the next opportunity they would have, to go on another hunt or to, gain favor of the world god or however they perceive it?
At that, you can see Solel, the woman, has found a place to stand up and start yelling, and she's yelling Muharib, Sayasanand, Sayasanda, and then they're all Sayasand, Sayasand, and they're basically saying the within its shadow, and Rodriguez is oh, right away, it seems. Probably within a day or two.
I really hope we're all going for the same one.
Well, that's good at least. So, I guess maybe we should let everybody rest up, right? Until we can see the king. Or are we allowed to explore or anything? Or actually, I don't know if that's a good idea.
She comes back. Salel Kafid comes back and she says, "We have a lot of important things to do. I thank you for saving my life. Because you have saved my life, you can act as sailors in a single way. You can be one of us." Let's see, what's the word here? Well, anyways, you can, I will offer you a favor in return. And you notice when she comes back, she completely ignores books.
Oh.
But you still have not answered my question. What is it that you have come here for? What is it that we can do to help you outsiders?
Oh, we're here to gather evidence against the Sea Harvester in order to take them down for exceeding their quotas.
Pah. You're from the government then of the Bansalar government. These Ot Park, something like that then. An LT of the of Ot Park. She thinks you're like part of the world government, you know.
We're representatives of the Pan-Galactic Friends of Life.
Her mouth just looks open, like what the hell is that? Like looks at you like you're a moron. Like, and she's like, well, again, I ask, and I would ask, I expect an answer. What is it? So you wish to know that they do wrong? Well, that is not hard to see. They slay the Dugadasi. They have made it such that some of our city ships who have existed for generations are dying. Some of them have been evacuated. You know, we've taken on numbers from other city ships because there are no Dugadasi left.
Can you get us in a position to where we can record them taking down the Dugadasi?
I would have to bring it up to the council.
This would be in your favor also.
I will speak to my father. And she nods, walks off, and lets you rest. I think you get like 1 back a day, so Rodriguez will get 1 endurance, and you can get 1 endurance back from your the second half, you know, for Chapman. I think it's 1. And then maybe more if you have a doctor, I don't know, but maybe you have to have a med kit. But you probably have med kits, don't you?
I brought my med kits, yeah.
I mean, I'm astonished how generously you just let me back at half of my endurance anyway.
Well, I think that's the rule. If you it's a little fuzzy off the top of my head, and I'm not going to look it up. But basically, if you don't go unconscious, that is what happens. You go back to half of that stat.
Right.
So my thought is, if you have a doctor, maybe you could evade the consequences on a roll of the higher thing where you go unconscious and it takes longer. Blah blah blah. I might be misremembering it, but I'll say if you expend 1 med kit, then you can get your endurance back, which seems like a pretty high price. Maybe you want to hang on to it.
Oh, I've got plenty of med kits. I bought like 15 of them before we set.
It's covered in med kits, just like med kits.
It's prepared.
I've got a big satchel of med kits. Yeah.
Hand it over, Doc. Come on, give me the good stuff.
Yeah. I pull
Alright.
out the morphine and everything. Nice. Yeah.
All right, yeah, you do that, and so if you want Rodriguez to have 1, you'll have to do 2.
What about
I'm sorry,
the other guy?
Ahmed.
Ahmed.
Yeah, not Rodriguez. I was thinking of Ahmed. Sorry. So it'd be 2 for Ahmed and for Chapman. Anyways, the next day, you find out that a Hukarmet Baslika is declared to discuss the outsiders and their proposal. So it seems like Salal Kafid has spoken on your behalf, as well as the desire for a hunt. Now I'm going to pan the camera over to the other group. Meanwhile, on the Globatik Salami, you have excellent cabin rooms, like on the ship. They're very comfortable. And you're like in the officers' quarters where you're allowed to stay. And then all of a sudden, you feel the deck vibrating. And you hear the exhaust plumes of missiles fire. And then like, and you hear like the laser cannons, like a bunch of them fire all at once. And then it goes silent, and you hear the hum of laser cannons like die down. This happens while you're in your room, like at night.
We got to make it up to the deck or something.
Okay.
Some kind of a portal where we can see what's going on.
All right, you do that. You make it up over to the deck. Maybe you're in like your complimentary bathrobe. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking bathrobe, but yeah.
Complimentary bathrobe is better though. That's better. The bathrobe is better.
Go up onto the deck in your slippers, and you look over the side.
I hope they have a pipe. Please tell me they have a pipe.
And you look out onto the water bellamy at night, and you see smoking ruins of ships and boats that have been destroyed.
Whoa.
Shipley, what I don't know, you run up to? I mean,
I do, and I make sure that I've got my little camera on my complimentary bathrobe. I'll just play the befuddled corporate person, like, oh no, are we in danger?
Yeah. Some of
running in circles, like tripping over things.
Some of the blue uniformed guards are up there, and they're like, sir, ma'am, everything is fine here. You're not in any danger, but we're going to ask you just for now to go back to your cabin. Everything is fine. It's just a minor incident. We're well equipped for it. You're not in any danger at all, but we wouldn't like you to be on the deck right now.
You sure are. Well, what are those? What do you got there? Those 88s or? I mean, come on. What are we talking? Super effective.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of thing that gives a man confidence in an operation right here.
You start talking about
done.
The nomenclature.
Yeah, I want to get into the nitty gritty. Absolutely.
Yeah. One of them smirks. They love it. They confirm your identification of a ship's laser battery, and it's basically a micro atmospheric version of a ship's pulse laser, and they're very proud of it. And it is devastating. I mean, it would vaporize a boat or a ship easily. And he says, yeah, we deal with the locals sometimes. They're aggressive every once in a while. Never been that aggressive before. Got right next to the ship, the idiots. They know not to come that close. Got what they were asking for, if you ask me.
Looks like it. All right, well, carry on, gentlemen. You tell your commander I said job well done. That's good stuff right there. Yeah.
They beam with pride.
Oh, God. I'd feel a lot better about playing both sides against each other if one of them weren't clearly the villain.
It's clearly the villain. Hart Conan.
Are we the baddies or something?
You guys are. We're the good ones.
Hey, we're gonna take these guys down.
Hopefully, I don't know. I'm kind of
150.
Maybe we should just straight up pick the side that puts the Sea Harvester Company to rest for good. I don't know about you. I'm feeling a little bit of my Avatar, Last of the Mohicans kind of thing going on right now.
Yeah.
The Mohicans.
Okay, think about 250 credits. 1,000 credits.
I mean,
we'll hold on to our own private copy of all the damning evidence against them. We can hand it over whatever we need to our lawyer. He pays us, and then he defends us against our terrorism charges. And as soon as that's settled, whoa, this new footage has surfaced.
That's true. Yeah.
To keep this as insurance. We'll delay justice for as long as we need to get ours.
Nobody put a timeline on it. That is true.
The next morning, you wake up to more wailing. as dead bodies are brought in, and like they've been charred, and there's like this bay here, right? So you have like little ships that can come in, and so there's a bit of a fleet of ships, most of them destroyed or damaged, and wreckage, and people picking through the wreckage, and people like holding each other and hugging each other and wailing and crying about the people who have died, and yeah, it's just an absolute just chaos of sorrow and anger and it's just nuts in here. That's what you see when you wake up.
That's us, or that's
No, sorry. I panned the camera back over to the Nomads.
Rodriguez are they wailing about the same thing, or is it something different now?
Oh, it's something different. Yeah. Well, anyways, Rodriguez, he says, no, this is, I can't believe this. This isn't. They say that one of the factory ships did this. That they fired on the tribe that was screening a reconnaissance screen for a Dagadasi hunt today.
I whip out my camera and start taking pictures.
Yeah, journalism.
I would ask Rodriguez, is that like an act of war? Like, what does that mean?
Well, to tell you the truth, under Squalia's laws, that is an act of war, and the countries of Otpark are not obligated to defend the factory ship. Under Squalia law, these nomads have every legal recourse to retaliate. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't think they would stand a chance against one of those factory ships.
Yeah.
He's right, Chapman.
Well, yeah, it would be nice if we could convince them that maybe the best recourse is going to come in the court of law, that you can maybe take down these opponents through other channels instead of, bloodshed, because it won't go well for you. But I have a hard time imagining how I would be able to sell that to what I assume is probably a very honor-bound culture.
Well, Solel Kafid shows up that day, being that she is honor-bound and required to respond to you. So she comes back, and she says, Yabansalar, we have faced our worst days since your arrival. Some of our number, those who we call the Muhurabar, they want you dead. They think you are spies. I told them that you are not, and that I wouldn't hear it, and neither would my father, the Arumaral. We are having a council, what we call a Hukarmet Baslika. All of the different the tribes, they form blocks, and we're discussing what to do with you, what to do with your request, the Dagadasi hunt, and war.
Do we have any say in that discussion at all? Or are we just, now in the hands of fate?
You are Yabansalar. You are outsiders, strangers to the World Seekers. But you also saved my life. And I am a Sabaisir, daughter of the Aramaral. The the Hukarmet Baslika is obligated to hear my voice on behalf of you. But I warn you, each block of the council has its own voice, and they have their own interests. I cannot say what will happen at this council. It's possible there are 5 different factions. There are a number of voting blocks that are neutral. There are 4 that are very set in their ways, and they have used this chance to bring their conflict to the table and to finally get their way. There is the Aslar, the Elder Council. They have long advocated to stay out of these affairs of the outsiders, and to simply seek what we call the Muvazin on our own. Then there are the Mudafar. They are my block. And we believe that we should try to find a way to stop the outsiders from destroying the Dogadasi, but we do not know how. And then there are the Muharabar, who, given the chance, will kill you. And any outsider they can possibly kill. And then there's a small voting bloc called the Zinganlar. They believe that we should set aside the ways of the Aramakalar and move on and become like the outsiders.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I am prepared to make our case after I had a cup of coffee maybe, or whatever passes for that sort of thing around here. I've got a killer headache after yesterday, but, what the hell? Let's give this our best shot.
Yeah, right.
I'm with you. Yeah.
I kind of like the spicy challenge of trying to make the best argument I can to all these different blocks with very different perspectives.
The coffee is amazing. The best you have ever tasted. It is unbelievable, and yet somehow made of kelp instead of beans. Meanwhile, I'll pan the camera one last time for tonight. Back to the factory ship. As you make your preparations for the Hukarmat Baslaka, back to the Globtik Solmi, the big factory ship. You have a brief meeting with Anna Gregor, who tells you that she's also frustrated again, and but acting differently toward you. She gathers you in the room. She says, and you notice she has 2 guards with her, and she says, "I'm sorry, but my memory seems to be faulty, and we don't actually have any PDBT beta for sale. The quotas are to blame, of course, but of course we would adhere to the quotas." And it's like she's a different person.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll take what we can get. So you're saying no extra hunt?
No, we would never violate the quotas.
Got it. I mean, that's good to know. It's protects against liability, I guess.
Yes. We'll have transportation prepared for you out of here within the day. And 2 things happen. Now, I'm skipping ahead. You have probably hours. But it becomes clear that they're going to take you to one of the ports, and you can tell that the ship they have is damaged. And they're basically going to drown you. And that is where we'll end the adventure for the night.
What the hell?